What's up guys, Dirk here. Welcome to another video. So if you're new to the channel, basically all I do is share my experience, insights, and updates about cryptocurrencies without the BS, without the spam, without the shills that you usually see on a lot of other channels. So if that is something that you want and you're looking for genuine no BS updates in the cryptocurrency space, do consider subscribing to the channel below. Click the notification bell after you subscribe so that you do get future updates. So today what I want to talk about is a cash out strategy, which is arguably one of the most important aspects of ever doing anything with cryptocurrencies at all. So the usual disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, what to buy, where to buy it, how to sell it, any of that kind of stuff. All I'm doing is I'm sharing my own personal experience and strategy so that you can see what I'm doing, so you can use that how you want. So a cash out strategy is very important. I've actually covered this in my newsletter in my private community inside Intelligent Cryptocurrency. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, you should go and check that out. It's a no BS community where I share much more information, updates, newsletter, all that kind of stuff. It's at intelligentcryptocurrency.com. First link in the description. So why is a cash out strategy so important? Well, especially with cryptocurrencies where there can be such huge gains like we saw in 2017, followed by massive losses, right? So crypto giveth and crypto taketh away, okay? You can see 10x, 50x, even 100x gains, and months later that can all be completely reduced back down to zero. If you don't have a cash out strategy, then all you did is went for a roller coaster ride. And if you ride the wave all the way up, but you don't cash out and you ride it all the way back down, well, you know, besides all the adrenaline that you got from the ride up and all the frustration that you got from the ride down, you end up in exactly the same place as you started. A lot of times actually even worse, where you're actually down more than what you initially put in. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today, like I said, is a strategy that I'm personally going to be following for the next foreseeable future about how to cash out. Also, for those of you who follow Chico Crypto's channel, it's pretty much one of the only channels that I actually do watch on YouTube. I really enjoy his research. He actually did publish a cash out strategy video about 8 hours before I made this one, and I actually haven't watched it yet on purpose because, you know, I don't want to make the same content or do anything of that sort. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making this video, and then, you know, if you want to go and watch his video too, it's probably going to be good. But that just gives you another perspective from someone else who does his research very well. So look guys, here's a weekly chart of Bitcoin, and you can see how that made a massive run up in 2017, which is great. You know, if you held it, you were getting richer and richer every single week until it peaked, and then it came all the way back down. So if you didn't cash out and you just held it, well, you just rode the wave up and down. And that's with Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't even correct as much as some of the others. I mean, if you look at some of the other coins, they went down 90%, in some cases more than 95%. I mean, for example, look at ARK. Okay, ARK did a completely, almost perfectly symmetrical run up and run down. You can see it went here, it's a little peak here, then up, then down, then the next little peak over here. You can almost say that's just a giant mirror image of a head and shoulders or something like that. But either way, I mean, you know, you could have gotten in here at 13 cents, ride it all the way up to $10, and then, you know, it went all the way back down again. So the importance of taking profits is a very real. And a very recent example of this is actually the coin Ampleforth. Been seeing a lot of talk about it on social media, especially on Twitter. By the way, follow me on Twitter if you aren't following me just yet over here. But yeah, the last couple of weeks, people were shilling Ampleforth and saying, hey, it's going to the moon, blah, blah, blah. And it did, right? It went from under $1. It went here from like 90 cents all the way up to just over $4. And right now it's all the way back down. So that's the thing. I mean, there's literally thousands of coins. There's no way you can research all of them or even a fraction of them and actually know what you're doing. Now, I do not recommend buying anything that you don't understand. Okay, and I get it. I mean, there's a lot of people who just jump on the hype train. A coin is going up, everyone's talking about it, so they're like, hey, you know, let me throw some money at it. and it's just a gamble, even if it's like $100 or 500 or 1,000, whatever your gamble amount is. But then the thing is, even if you do that, there should be some sort of strategy, because let's just say, okay, you see Ample going up. Let's just say you buy in at $2 and it goes to $4, right? So far you're good. You've doubled your money. But if you kept on holding that and it drops back down to whatever it is now, almost 70 cents, well, then you just lost more than 50% of what you put in had you actually kept it. So there has to be some sort of strategy where you get in, and when it gets up, you remove at least partial initial or complete initial investment, maybe even partial profits, so that even if it does end up going down, well, you just lose your profits and not actually what you put in. So let's hop over into my sketch pad and let me show you what I personally am doing. Okay, so first let's explain what I'm doing over here. So personally, I think for cryptocurrencies, what I'm doing, 5% of net worth, or just single digit percentages of net worth. So whatever it is, if I have $10,000, that means I'm only putting in $500. If it's $100,000, it's 5,000, and so on and so forth. So basically, because crypto is highly risky, you know, it's not like I'm putting everything I have into cryptocurrencies and betting on that. Okay, it is still highly risky. It can be cut in half, you know, overnight. So if you have a large percentage of your actual everything you own in there, you know, you could lose 50-60% pretty much in a matter of a day or 2 days, which obviously, if you have that high a percentage, is something that causes you to not sleep very well. It's just not a smart idea, in my opinion. So because, and I actually made a video about this, about the asymmetric nature of this, how you can actually double your entire net worth with a 5% bet of your net worth on cryptocurrencies or less. I'll link to it up here. So basically, you don't need to put in a lot of money into crypto to be able to get huge potential gains. And that's the nice thing about it. It's high risk, so you can bet low single digit percentages, you know, and if you lose it, well, you know, it's a bad day, but it's not the end of the world. But if you're right and it goes 20, 50, 100x, well, then the gains are huge. So of the allocated money to cryptocurrencies, what I do over there is I split that and I say 80 to 90% of that is a hodl, is a long-term buy and hold portfolio for, since I think we're going into a bull market and we probably have 12 to 24 months left of that bull market, in my opinion. You know, most of my portfolio is just a hodl. I'm buying, I'm holding, and I'm waiting for the time to pass to be able to get near some sort of peak anywhere between May and maybe May and December of 2021, maybe even early 2022. I also made a video on some of the cycles. Again, I'll link to that up here so you can go and check that out if you haven't done so already. And then I have 10 to 20% of this budget that I allocate to trades, sometimes even some leverage trades. I'm not a fan of using leverage at all, and I wouldn't recommend it. You know, unless you have experience with trading and charts and leverage and that kind of stuff. And even then, it is still highly risky. But due to some trades, if you know what you're doing and you have that ability, you can use this 10 or 20% to increase your profits, and the profits can go straight back into the hodl to increase the actual hodl size. So that's basically what I'm doing over here. Now, in terms of cash out, so what I follow is a simple 3-step process. Okay, first of all, the most important thing about any investment, in my opinion, and there's a lot of people say this too, is to protect your initial capital. If you lose profits, okay, whatever, it sucks, but you get to live to have another chance to actually make a bet or make a trade or whatever the case is. The most important thing is your capital. Your capital is your, basically, it's the tools that you work with to be able to make more profits with investment. Without capital, you can't make any money. So the most important thing is to never lose money. So to protect the capital as much as possible in the crypto space is to remove whatever I put in as soon as possible. And usually I do that when a coin pulls a 2x. So if I put $1,000 into a cryptocurrency and it turns into $2,000, as soon as it hits $2,000, I remove that initial $1,000, I withdraw it, I put it back into my bank account, and I remove the risk from it. That way, even if it drops completely back down, all that I stand to lose is my actual profits. I still have my initial 1,000 that I can go and reinvest at any point in future whenever there's another important opportunity. So that's super important for me to actually do. And by doing this diligently, it basically removes all the risk. And then whatever coins I have that are profit, you know, it's basically like house money. For example, imagine you go to a casino, you go and play some game and you double your money. You take out your initial that you came with, and then you're basically just playing with the casino's money. Same type of concept, okay? Then there are two further stages. So let's say it just keeps going up, okay? And after this 2x, let's just say it goes 5x, okay? And that's nothing too crazy in the crypto space. It does happen quite a bit. So now we have removed our first $1,000. Okay, so let's just put it here. Okay, so we remove 1,000 and we have 1,000. Okay, that's completely free money. Then that 1,000 goes another 5x and it turns into $5,000. Now at this point, 5,000 is quite considerable, and it would suck if that went all the way back down to zero. So what I will do is after that initial 1,000 goes another 5x, I will take some form of profits. And how much that is depends a little bit about where I think we're in the market cycle. If I think we're still early in the market cycle and I think there's still a long way up to go, which potentially could be the case right now, well then I want to take some profits but not as much. You know, I might take 20%. I might take 1,000 off the table. But if I think we're later in the cycle, where I think the chances of downside are much higher, then I might take 3,000 or 4,000 off the table. But if it is a project that I believe in long term, I don't want to take everything off the table and be left without holding anything in that project. So that's where step number 3 comes in. This is basically what I call the moonbag or the moonshot, because cryptocurrencies are still so small. It is still such a small space, and there is real potential for a coin to maybe do 50x, 100x, maybe much more than that even. But realistically, unless you buy the coin and forget about it, you're never actually going to be able to hold it long enough to realize that 50x or that 100x. And that's a thing that a lot of people actually say when they're like, oh, I wish I bought Bitcoin in 2010 when it was like 10 bucks, you know, because it went all the way up to 20,000, obviously. But the reality is, even if you had bought it at $10, you wouldn't have kept it till 20,000 unless it was locked up or you forgot about it, right? If you bought it at $10 and it goes to $20 or it goes to $50 or it goes to $100, you're going to likely sell. Or it goes to $1,000, you're going to sell, right? And you're not going to ride it up to 10K, 20K and much further. So that's why I like the importance of having a moonbag of projects that I believe in. And this will be a small percentage that I will keep. So after I've removed the initial, right? After I took out my initial capital, there's zero risk to it. And after I took profits anywhere, let's say between 10 to 90%, depending on where I think we are in the cycle. The earlier on, the less I will take. The later on, the more I will take. And then that moon bag is something that I want to keep potentially, you know, for the next 5 to 10 years and see where it ends up. And this moon bag is probably only going to end up being like 10 to maybe even 5% of this total amount that it is. And yes, that means it's much smaller than it was initially, but at the same time I've taken my profits, I've removed my initial, and that moon bag, let's just say it does do 100x at some point, could still turn into a rather significant amount, which, you know, is always a big winner. So guys, there you have it. It is very simple for me personally, at least anyway. The most important thing is to be diligent and take profits. And when it comes to any sort of investment, you are never going to get the exact top or the exact bottom. It's like that, okay? Either you're going to sell too early and you're going to realize profits and it's going to continue going higher, or you're going to sell too late and you missed out on the exact top and you give back some of those profits. Either way, you know, you have to be okay with the fact that you are not going to pick the exact top and the exact bottom, and that's fine. If you have a trading plan and you have a strategy and you can 2x or 5x or 10x whatever amount you put into an investment, that is a massive achievement, irrespective of whether that investment could have made you 20x or 50x or 100x, right? If you have a target and you reach that target and you've taken your profits It is so, so much better, because there are people out there that are going to ride it all the way back up. You know, they're going to get 20, 50, 100x gains, but they're not going to cash out. They're going to ride it all the way back down and give up all those gains and eventually end up with less than they started with. That is the nature of markets, and that's why it's much, much better just to have your plan, stick to it, remove your risk from any investment as soon as you can, take profits, and then potentially, you know, like what I'm doing, keep some sort of moon bag in case the project does really end up taking off. Who knows what things are going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, crypto's only been around for 10 years, so who knows what it's going to look like and what the valuation is going to be. I mean, we're still at 300 billion market cap right now, 320 billion. What if this goes to 10 trillion or 20 trillion in the next 10 years, right? And a small bag of holding some coins all throughout that period could end up being worth really significant amounts of money. So again, not financial advice. I just shared this with you, what I'm doing, and hopefully this gives you some insight into what you can do with your own strategies. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching. Do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so. All it is, one click on the subscribe button, one click on the notification bell after you're done, and that is it. Of course, thumbs up. If you give this a like, you know, I'd really appreciate it. It gets the video out to more people. It helps the channel and all that good stuff. And as you probably know by now, I do have a premium education program with courses about cryptocurrency, about trading, how to get started, where to buy it, technical analysis, money management. I publish a monthly newsletter, 30-page newsletter every single month with new research and updates. And there's a private chat group where not only do you get access to members all around the world who invest in crypto and myself personally, but in that chat group, I also share my own personal buys and sells, which coins I'm holding, which coins I'm buying, which coins I'm selling. It's not a signal service. I just share with you what I'm personally doing. But again, that gives you more insight into, you know, where I'm putting my own money. So if that's what you're interested in, go to intelligentcryptocurrency.com. First link in the description. And thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace.